Okay, guys. So in our last class, we had discussed about the variables and we saw how we can declare a variable and how we can assign the value and how we can define and can use the variable in the Terraform file. So we saw the variables, we saw how we can use the semantic way to segregate the TF files and use it, right? So in today's class, as we are talking about the variables, right? We need to understand what type of variables, the data type, which is most important to understand. Because if you don't understand the data type of the variables, then it will be a problem whenever you're writing any code, whether it is in case of development or automations or anything, right? So for that, we are going to learn data types today. So the data types argument is a variable block allows us to restrict the type of value that will accept it as the value for the variable. So this is very simple, guys. Whoever has some knowledge on development or has some coding skills or somewhere might have seen something like they might have come across with the data types, right? So in Terraform, we are also going to use, whenever we declare a variable, we must declare the type of variable, okay? If no type constraint is set, then a value of any type is accepted. That means if you're not giving a type to a variable, if you're not declaring it, if you're not setting it, then any value assigned to that variable is possible. While executing, if you don't specify the correct type of, then it will throw error. If you have already set the type of the variable, type of the data types, then you must have to set the value accordingly based on the type of data. If you don't specify, then it will throw error. Small example is, if we have declared a type as a string, but we are passing as integer or a number, then it will throw error. If you don't have declared or if you have not set any data types, then if you're giving a value to any type like number, string, list, whatever it is, it will take. It will not throw error. If you already said and if you're not assigned the appropriate value, appropriate data, then it will throw error. The error could be like invalid value for input variable. It is the similar error like other development or other development languages. Okay. So let's see what type of data types are available, right? String, number, bool, list, map, and null. You need to understand what exactly the string is, what is the number, what is bool, what is list and map and null, right? The string, a sequence of Unicode characters representing some text like hello or kind of value. Suppose you are giving the image ID, right? If you're giving, like if you go and check this one, like instance TF, here we are giving the AMI, the variable. Suppose you are going to give the attributes here, going to give the argument as a string within the double quote. And if you're not assigned, it's kind of the string is look like this, okay? Now, a string, a sequence of Unicode characters representing some text, like hello, or the text could be like a letter, a number, okay, anything. And what is a number? A numeric value. The number type can represent both whole numbers like 15 or fractional values like this. Remember, these are the data types you have to declare as string, number, bool. So a Boolean value or bool is actually, it's either we can declare it as true or false. Everyone know that one, right? So list or a tuple. So people who is having some Python knowledge or some kind of Python knowledge, they understand the tuple or the list. Also, who are having some knowledge on kind of programming, they can understand the arrays, right? in C or Java or in .NET, right? This programming language, we used to call it as array, a group of values, right? A sequence of values. Similarly, in Python or in Terraform also, we used to call it as list, a sequence of values like you can put in the, and remember, the list will be declared as within the square bracket, within the square bracket, okay? Element in a list or tuple are identified by consecutive whole numbers starting with 0. That means whenever you call, whenever you use that list or arrays, you remember, right? It will be now treated as the index number first. It's starting with the 0. It will be indexed, right? In an index, whenever you have seen a book, right? A book or any kind of documents, if you read, treated as, it will be in the first, it will have the index values starting with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. In a list, the index value starts with 0. 0 is the first element, okay? So we'll see in example, direct example, don't worry. So the map, or it's called as object, a group of values identified by named label likes name and name, or you have to give a value. That's called key value pair, okay? The map looks as a key value pair, okay? It could be strings, numbers, or boots are sometimes called primitive types. Lists, tuple, and maps objects are sometimes called complex types, structural types, or collection types. So map normally called as collection type, which actually is having a key value pair. So here in this example, and remember the maps starts with curly braces. You have to declare within the curly braces. Normally in Python, we call it as a dictionary. In Python also the map also there. Also it has the dictionary kind of thing, okay? So like if you see here name as key and the variable, which is the value, which is the called as value, key value pair, okay? This is the variable name and the value. So null, a value that represents absence or omission. Obviously, if you are just declaring a variable, but you are not assigning any value, so that variable and will be as a null value. Okay, it's a null value assigned to that. Okay, so let's see how we can declare all this type of. So here, simple example things I have given here, how we declared this map and how we use this in the list. Okay, how we'll use this in. So just try to understand this. Let me little maximize this one. Okay. A lot more to learn. Okay, I'll quickly go ahead because we're a lot more to finish these things. Okay, so map, if you see here, the variable is declared. The variable is declared in a file, right? Map type, suppose I have given here as map here default value I have assigned, type I have declared as map, but the default value as given as AP South 1 is T2 micro, US East 1 is T2 nano, US West 2 is T2 small. So guys, can anybody tell what this variable represents? If you have got some idea, can anybody tell what this meaning is and why we need to assign like this? What it represents?
Storing the data.
Different region value. So we can call only one whenever we are making a call like south, east later. But now we are creating a dictionary value.
Exactly. So the thing is here, what we are doing it, what is the purpose of doing this? First, you need to understand what is the purpose of doing this, right? What we have done here, we have created a map and assigned the instance type to the region code, So we have here declared the variable as map type, but we have taken the key and the value, the key we have given as the region code. and the value we have given as the instance type. Based on the region code, if you are going to create your instance, then that particular instance type will be used. Suppose I want for US East 1, Northern Virginia, then it will be T2 nano. If I go for US West 2, it will be T2 small. If I'm going for Mumbai, right, it will be AP South 1, that is T2 micro. And how I'll access these things? We have declared the variable. How we'll access this one? This is the variables.tf file. This will be under the variables.tf file. And how we can use this one is like resource AWS instance. Suppose resource we used AWS instance, we gave something name and instance type. Remember, as we have created the variable, we can access the variable using the var keyword, var dot the variable name, and within the square bracket, we have to use the, we have to pass the key. We have to pass the key here. Okay. So let's do this example here. Let me just open my terminal. So I'll do one example, so because I cannot complete everything, otherwise it will be delayed more. So it's up to you. You'll take it and do practice at home. Okay. So we'll have sufficient time. Then we can discuss in something like text demo. Yeah. So we have what we have. We have the provider. We have this C2TF, right? We have these variables here. Now let me just twist this variable to add something here. So we have the instance type. Let me just comment this one. Okay. So this is called multi-comment. Sorry, this is called multi-comment in Terraform, right? Now let me declare a variable. Declare a variable. The variable I'll just give as a name. Suppose anything, region based, region based, something like this, region based, the variable name. And what do you need? I need to declare what type of variable it is. So you have to give type equal to, so I want this as a map, type equal to map. Okay, type equal to map. Now you have to give a default value. If you don't want to give the default value here, then where you have to declare the value, where you have to assign the value or declare that variable there.
Terraform .tf vars.
Okay, Terraform.tf vars. So if we don't declare any or don't assign any value to this variable, then where we have to do, we have to declare, we have to add in the Terraform.tf vars. Okay, now here what I have done, I have already created here. Now let me just put it here like type equal to map, right? Now what I will do here, our default, okay, default. Let me copy there. So to save some time. Okay, what I did, default, AP Southern T2 micro, all this I just added in this here. Okay, now what I have to do in the EC2 instances, EC2.tf file, EC2.tf file, I have to just modify the the instance type. Let me modify the instance type and the variable, okay, AMI, let me just, otherwise it will throw error. Let me correct this one in the variables so I don't instead of region based, let's make it, because we are going to work on the instance type, right? So let's make it the instance type here. We don't need, let me just modify this. We are going to make this, put this in the instance type. 10. Now let me delete these things. We know we don't need this. Good, we got it, right? The variable, the instance type, we have added here in the instance type. We add this particular map. Now let me save this one. So if I just do Terraform TF vars, here we have the instance type is given as default one is the T2 micro, and image is given here. So let me remove the instance type here because I'm going to access directly from there. Got it? So what I can do here, I need to edit the Terraform file. Okay, so my AMI, I'm not going to change it because my AMI is normal string. I'm not going to use it. Okay, suppose if you want to make it as string, then what you can do, you can just edit the variables TF file and make this image, sorry, make this image type equal to string. That's all. Type equal to string. Now let's edit situ.tf, and here what I need to do, instance type, okay, var dot instance type, as it is a map, then we have to pass the key. So what is the key? Suppose I want T2 micro. The instance type to get the T2 micro, what should be the key? To get the T2 micro value, what should be the key? The key should be AP South -1, the region code, right? If I for this region code, it will generate the 1, right? Now let's do the changes here. Accept it. Okay, let's do Terraform plan. This character is not used within the language. Okay, got it. So what is the problem? Can you guys tell me from this error? All errors are from variables.tf file. All errors are from invalid character, argument or block definition required. All are from variables.tf file. Okay, so we have to fix the variables.tf file. What is the problem here, guys?
Instead of equal to, should we need to put colon?
You meant to say instead of equal to, we have to put colon.
Not sure, just guessing.
Okay, not a second. So I think there is some invalid arguments are there. Okay, some invalid arguments. Type map default equal to. Okay, so what happened? You know, this character might have some issues. Wait. Let me just fix it.
I think that AP South one is one also should be enclosed with double string, double quotes.
It's not required.
Mm.
It's not required, but let me do that also. Okay. Yeah, if map default equal to this.
When the type equal to map should be enclosed with double quotes.
No, it's not.
Not required. Okay.
No, it's not. Because I copied from here, there could be some issues with the. Let's do Terraform validate now. Terraform validate. It's the same errors again. Variable instance type default. This character is not used within the language. Which character? Maybe there is some extra. Oh, got the point here. Why it is causing the problem? Let me delete here everything. Let's create default equal to okay, I'm not doing anything else. Let's save this one and check what that is. Yeah. So when I copied, no, there are some extra odd characters were there. That is why it was saying, like, see, this character is not used. After this VS Swim, there are few junk characters when being copied from the VS Code from my PowerPoint. Okay, that was causing problem, right? So let's see. I'll show you how there will be few problems will be there. Suppose I copied here and paste it here. If I just do things here, we have some tabs under here, but that should be okay. Right? Fine. Anyway, it's working now. So what I can do here, just quickly go. So our configuration is valid. Our configuration is valid. Let me quickly do some other changes. Okay. I'll add one more variable or one more key value. Okay. So it will be that maybe AP South, that one, US East 1, right? We'll add US hyphen East hyphen 1. So this is for suppose T2 now. T2 now, right? Good. Let's do directly the Terraform plan. Got it? All good. So as we have accessed the value providing the key of T, the AP South 1, so it will get the T2 micro. So what it will get? It will get T2 micro. If I go there and see, it gets us the instance type as T2 micro. To use the T2 nano, we can just simply modify the EC2 here. Instead of AP South 1, we can simply, based on the region code, right? It will get us the instance type. Yes, hyphen list hyphen 1. Okay. Good. Now let's do Terraform plan. So if I go little up here, let's check now. It should be T2 nano. See, the instance type is T2 nano, right? This is how you have to use it. Now let's move on quickly. Do you have any doubts so far, guys? No, I can just move on quickly on to the next things. So similarly, we have to declare a list. Okay. And as I say, this list starts with and declared as in the inside a square bracket. Okay. And all these things is being created as like this type of like T2 medium or T. Okay, let's quickly do the same example of list, and I'll show you how the index works here. How the index works here. Okay. Now let me just use to modify these variables, and so instance type. Let me just. I'll not copy anymore anything. Which is causing problem and it's wasting time. Okay. Now let's do some type here. Variable. Okay. I'll just give as instance type again. Okay. Instance type here. Instance type. And this time I'm going to declare this as the data type as list. Okay. And let's give as default. But here, as the list declared as and within the square bracket, you have to give the square bracket and you have to provide the values there. It is not the key values. If you see about the map, it's having the key value pair and it is kept within the curly braces. But here in case of list, it is kept in the square bracket and map being accessed through the key vats dot variable, and within the square bracket we have to provide or pass the key. But here it is being accessed through the index number. Okay, so let me just add it here. I'll give as suppose. Okay, the first index, suppose I'll give as T2.9. Okay, the second value I can provide as T2.small. The third one I can put it as T2.large. Okay, so here I have assigned like this. Now, how I'll access these values? I can simply go ahead. Okay, I can simply go ahead and change something here in the ec2.tf file. So here in the instance type, let me do changes. Suppose instead of providing the key, we have to provide the index. So you have to make sure that what index value you have provided. Suppose you have to use T2 large. What value should I pass here? Okay, let me go back there.
Two.
Okay, so here the T2 large as declared at here, and I want to use the T2 large instance type. What index should I pass here?
2, 0,
2, right? Because it is the first index is 0, second one is the 1, the third one is the 2. In an array, the index value starts with 0. In a list, the index value starts with 0. So we have to pass here the value 2. Now let me modify here. Simply add it as here 2. Okay. Now save this one. Good. Now if I choose Terraform plan, let's see. See, the T2 large. Okay. Similarly, you can use whatever you want in the ES. Now you understood about this one, right? Now let's move on quickly some other thing. Okay. Count. This is very useful parameter in Terraform. You must understand why to use count, and definitely you'll get questions on this. Allow me for 2 seconds. Sorry, 1 minute, guys. I'll be back. 1 minute. Okay, sorry guys. So as I said, the count parameter is most important in Terraform to use while we are using the loop or any kind of reusing the code and all. Okay, so how will you use this count parameter? The count parameter and resources can simplify configurations and let you scale resources by simply incrementing a number. Suppose you need some particular number of resources to be created. So far, whatever we have created, suppose single instances, suppose we have created, right? Or suppose you need to create some users. Let's discuss about the use cases here. We have written it here. If we have to create 5 users, then we have to write 5 resource blocks in order to create it. Normally, what happens when you create the users, right? When you create the users, how will you do that? Either you can write a resource block, there you can specify the username, and if a single user you have to create, specify the username and then create it. Suppose in your project or in your team, there are 10 members, 10 users joined, and you have to create 10 users simultaneously with a different name. How will you do that? We need to increment whenever we create. Either we can write the 10 resource blocks, or we can write this to increment the number to create automatically 10 users for us. Okay, so if you see this example here, what will happen? And here is a question guide for you, and you have to guide me how to write this Terraform block. Suppose you are totally new to the, you are starting this code, and let me just allow me to delete this 1 second. Okay, now we have this EC2 for its instance created, and we have the sz.tf, that is for security group created. Okay, now tell me, let me tell you the scenario, let me tell you the requirement, and you just guide me throughout the process how I have to create the TF file and what documentations or resource should I follow. Okay, my requirement is to create 5 users. As I was showing in the PPT, I want 5 users to be created. So quickly, can anybody tell me what is the things I have to start with? Anyone?
Sir, first you have to create an file, TF file for creating a user.
Mhm.
Then
Can I create here in this directory? And what should be the naming, and what should be the, how I have to create it?
the folder name should be user.tf.
Folder name.
Sorry, file name.
Okay. Any specific name by user.tf? Okay. No, I'm just asking why you thought user. As we are going to create a user.
Yes.
Okay. That's good choice that we can create user.tf, but it is not mandated that you have to be given as user.tf. Any name you can provide, but that name should be meaningful, should be understandable by the person who is looking the Terraform file, can understand that user.tf should contain the user related resources, resource blocks, right? That's why we gave us user.tf, but that can be anything. It's not only the user.tf. Okay, good. So we can create the user.tf file here, right?
Yes, sir.
But what will happen if I create user.tf file here? When I execute Terraform plan, what will happen?
It
Suppose
will
let me create user dot.
it will create the user along with create the EC2 instance also.
But I don't need the C2 instances and security group to be created, right? If I
For
put user
for that we have to create one new folder. Then for that folder we have create the provider, AWS provider. Then we have to create user means to create the user as create one file user.tf.
Great. That's how we have to do. Okay. So if we create directly user.tf here, what will happen? Because we are creating the users only. Why should we keep it in the folder where the other Terraform files are available? Unnecessarily, it will recreate those stops or it will execute those files. We don't need it, right? So what we can do, we can segregate it again by creating a different folder and put that user into that. Either you can create anywhere the folder, or in this folder, main folder, we can create a subfolder. Suppose I can give us like count demo. Something the folder name I gave as count demo. And there, let me copy the provider block, because the provider block is most important to provide. Okay. Now let me copy the user. Anyway, this is a blank file, nothing is there, empty file. Let me go to this count demo. Good, got it. So we have our provider.tf. We need the provider. Which provider you should use, you have to first put it there. Okay. So we have this provider.tf. And the region, everything is mentioned here. Okay. Now I'm going to write the user.tf. So what resource should I write it here? What is the resource name and how I'll get it? If you are not familiar with that.
From the documentation terraform.io.
Okay. Okay, from the terraform.io, you have to go to the provider AWS, and then from the documentations, go to the resource block and there get the resources. So you know all these things. I'm not going to show you right now. Let me quickly do the things first. So let me write the resources here. Okay, resource. We have to give the resource name. Then we have to provide the resource type and the resource name. Right. What is the resource type? It is the, we have to create the resource like the user, right? IAM user. So it should be, you can get it from the documentations, right? It should be AWS_IAM underscore user, right? Give AWS_IAM underscore user. These are things you can get it from the resource block of the documentations. Okay. If you're not sure about that, then give a name to this resource block. So what is the name? So I can give like user, something like this, user. Okay. Now, what I have to do, we have to add the arguments. So you can get these arguments from the documentation as well. Like we have to give the name, right? Name of the user. Name equal to, suppose I'll get it as the name as, suppose K Jyoti, right? Jyoti Kumar gave this K Jyoti. Okay. Now what happened here? I gave the name only, simple, that's all, right? Done. We have two files here. So what do we have to do next?
So first we have to initialize because it's a new folder.
Good. First, we have to do Terraform init, right? Terraform init. So it will download the required version of plugin or required version of provider plugin, and then it will start initializing everything. Okay. So first provider plugins, it will download and keep it in this folder, and then we'll just start working on it. Okay, successfully initialized. Now, what you can do, simply use Terraform plan, Terraform plan. Okay, so we can see here, KJyoti, which one is going to be created. Okay, so if I just hit enter here, sorry, you just use Terraform apply, and suppose what happens if I do Terraform apply, what it will do, it will first give us the plan details, and then will ask us for confirmations whether you want to proceed or not, right? But there is another option called auto approve. Auto approve. Auto approve. Auto approve. 1, 2, 2. Okay. See what it did? It did not ask us for the confirmation. It did not ask me for the confirmation. What happened? It directly connected to the cloud provider and then executed the resource block and created the user. So yeah, you can pass the -auto -approve equal to true. That means here in the command line itself, you are passing, that automatically gets approved and go on. So when it is feasible to give here, when you are confirmed with the Terraform plan, whatever plan you are giving is you are comfortable with, that is yes, okay, then without this, you can just proceed with this auto approve. So second level of confirmation is not required. You are directly approving it. Good. So we have one resource is created. Let's quickly log in. I have not logged in. Let me quickly log into the account, and there I can see the user which is been created. Okay. So if I go here, so where should I go to check the user? Except Jyoti, please, anyone else can tell me, where should I go to check the user is created or not? Which service should I use?
IAM.
Yes, so I should go to the IAM, right? Identity access management, which is the user related services to create, manage and create users, right? In the AWS. So we have 5 users. Let's go to the users and we'll see here we have KJyoti, which is created, which is now created, right? Similarly, if I want to create multiple users, what I can do here, let's modify the user.df here. And if I give something like something the username as my user, and I want to create 5 users. Okay. What will happen here? If I give count simply, it will create 5 users with the same name. I'm not going to create it now. What will happen? It will create with the same name. But that is not the case what we want, right? That is not the things which we have to create, right? So what we need in count, we can use index, okay, to create different user. How we'll do that? We have multiple ways to do that. What happens here? With the above code, the Terraform will create 5 users with the same name. like suppose demo user or my user. To overcome this problem, we can use count index. So next, this count and this count index is most important to know also. So the count index, what it will do, the count dot index, that means it will get the first index as 0, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. So 5 users will get created with demo user dot 0, demo user dot 1, demo user 2, 3, 4. Like this, it will create. That is one way, the count index. But again, the count index, the demo user 1, 2, 3, 4, if it is a generic usernames, then it is fine. If you have the employees joined, the resources joined, and you have to create specific name, right? Then what will happen? You can go with the variable concept. You have to go with the variable concept, and there in the variable name itself, you can use that count dot index. You can use count dot index. Okay, in this way, you can create. Suppose you need to specific dev user, prod user, or admin user. Okay, something like this, you can just directly go ahead and create by using this count. So here, I'm not showing you to create the users. I'm showing you how you can use the count index. Focus the things what I am just teaching you. I'm not teaching you how to create the users, but I'm teaching you how to use the count parameter and then how to use the count index parameter. Okay, next, I'll go a little faster now. Let's go ahead, think about the loop. Any programming, any automations, any scripting languages, the loop is must. Okay, for automations. So what happens here? For each, the loop for each, sometimes you might want to create resources with the distinct values associated with each one. So in this count also, we somehow achieved kind of looping, right? The number of resources we know to provide a count and we created. Right, the same things, again, we can achieve using loop for each. You might want to create resources with the distinct values associated with each one, such as names or parameters. Anything for each will let you do just that. So what we need here, if you see this example here, I just declare my instance here. Okay, and as I have given this my instance, I created, suppose in this Terraform variables, I give the my instances as a dictionary, as a map, and here you can see our map is having the instance underscore 1 equal to the instance type and instance 2 underscore this. And here you can see this Terraform variables, right? We have like the value of the keys and values of that particular parameter, particular variable has changed. If you see here, we have this AMI is a different AMI for this instance 1. For this instance 1, we have different AMI and different instance type and different instance size for this. Someone was asking me before in the prior classes how we can use multiple instances to create multiple instances, right? So far, we have created only single instances, but how sometimes you have to require, your company might require to create, you've got a new project and require to create suppose 7 instances immediately. You cannot write 7 resource blocks to create 7 resources, which will consume lots of time, right? Instead, you can go here and just put everything in a 1 Terraform verse, TF verse files, and there you can just put the AMI and the type of AMIs. Okay, and here, how we'll access these values? How you'll access this values by using the for underscore each equal to what I do, for underscore each equal to var dot my instances. So my instances is nothing but your variable name, is the variable name, right? And for each equal to var dot my instances means in this variable, whatever variables are declared under this, whatever variables are declared. How many variables are declared again? Instance 1 and instance 2. The same thing we are using as AMI. What is it? Each dot value. So each dot value equal to AMI. We are passing the key here. Each dot value we are passing key here. So what will happen? Each value from the variables declared. So here we have 2, 1, 2. The first loop will go inside, get each value of this AMI. This one it got, create the instances. Then it will go inside this instance 2 and get this AMI and create this one. So this is how you have to work and it will work. Okay. Is it clear, guys, or do you want me to do this one? Don't worry, all these codes I'll put in one of my GitHub page, and there you can just access and start working. Okay, so let me do this for each, right? Okay, I have one example here created for each. So here is each instance type, the same things been written here, the variables. Okay, Terraform TF-vars. This is kept it here, and providers block, anything is situ type, and all these things I'll put these codes in my GitHub page, and I'll provide you the link and you can do the practice. But I would suggest you just watch the video, whatever I have just explained, try to do and type the code by yourself. If I provide everything, all the resources to you, then you'll be lazy and it will not be beneficial for you to do the practice unless you write by yourself. Okay, so do practice, just watch out the video, purge from this page. If you want for anything, just try to do whatever you want. Okay, is it clear, guys, about the looping for each, or any doubt? Good. Okay, so we can move on with some different advanced topics like conditional. So we just talked about the looping part using the for each. Let's move on. How we use the conditions. This is also most important for any automations or programming or anything you are doing, right? So what is this conditional expresses? A conditional expression uses the value of a Boolean expression to select one of two values, like the syntax, whatever is given here. We have declared a variables called is test, okay, is test, and then we have this, if it is true, then go to def, if it is false, go to prod. Means it first check the condition, the value of those particular things, and then if it is true, then what will happen? It will fall to def. That means, is it a test environment? Yes, means true, then code should go to dev environment, or should code infrastructure should be created for dev environments. If it is not a test environment, then it should go and create a prod environment. And the syntax is first the condition. You have to give the condition, the question mark. If it is true, the first value should be true value, and the second value will be the false value. Remember, condition, question mark, the first will be the true value, the colon, the second one will be the false value. This is the C syntax and Python syntax, you could say, right? Even In Unix shell scripting also, this kind of syntax we most tried it. Now here we are we have given one example here. If you see this resource AWS_instance, okay, and here suppose I've given his name is my_instance dev, and AMI given something is T2 micro for dev, and these two resource blocks I have kept in my TF files, right? Terraform files. There will be two resource blocks, one for development, one for productions. And the variables I'll declare in the variable file. And when I pass the value for each test, each dev, then this particular block will be executed. Right? And if I give each test as if is state prod, right, then the second block will be executed. Right? This is how you have to write the conditional expressions. Right? Now, so here the instance type is T2 micro, right? Here the instance type is T2 micro. Now you can see here, what is this means actually, guys? Can anybody, if you guys, did you guys understand clearly? What it will do first? First, let me tell, first you guys tell me what it will do. This particular syntax, this particular line, what it will do.
If var dot is true itself is low, it will set to 1. That is true.
Set to 1 means, set to 1 means it will do the count equal to 1, right?
Yeah.
Means it will create only one instance. It will only create one instance, and that instance will be created for this. And if it's set to, if it is false, then it will be set to 0, count 0. That means it will not create anything. It will not create anything. You got my point? Y is given 1 0 and Y is given 1 0 here, right? Count 1.
Yeah, Ranjit.
Yes.
Here also, if you put 3 columns, you can able to create 3 instances instead of 1. You can make 3.
Yes. So here, instead of 1, it will be 3. Okay, let's do small example there. Let's do small example. Okay, now if I go and do some changes here, instead of creating the instances, let's create do this demo on variables, sorry, users, right? What I'll say here, same thing, I'm just going to write same thing. Okay, like var dot is tests equal to now if I give suppose test user, something like test user, okay, sorry, test user, then just give the question mark, right, question mark, then I suppose give 1. First let's give 1 and then 0. Right. What I did here, I add the count and the variable is test user. Then it should get 1 user, right? Let's go ahead and declare this is test there. Let's create a, in this file, we have to create a variable file, right? Variables.tf variable. What is the name? Is test. Let's give the value as test user, right? Save it. Let's do Terraform validate. Good, success. Clear it. Terraform plan. So what happened, guys, here? Now you can see here, it's going to create my user, but as our, okay, why, okay, here is the question for you. Why it's giving like this? It should directly give my user, but where it is getting KJT and why it is giving like this?
Sir, in the Terraform state file, already the username is already written Kjyoti. So when we edit the name my user, that means it's edit the means the Terraform state file is our current and the configuration file is our desired state.
Okay, yes, the current state of the infrastructure is the username is Jyoti, and which is written in the TF state file. In the state file, it is mentioned as Jyoti. So whenever we just modify the TF file, when we modify the TF file, it gives us the name as to create my user, and which is already is written as Jyoti current name, and the desired is given as my user, right? Now, if I just do the Terraform apply, what will happen? It will just override this Kjyoti and create my user. Let's do this quickly, and we'll do this demo for if condition, right? Terraform apply. So refreshing state, enter value, yes. So it is going to change the name from Kjyoti to my user. So if I refresh this page, Kjyoti to my user, see, it just changed to my user. Now, so what happened here? We have this name is created. Now let's do some another. I'll just add another resource block here. Okay, let's add another resource block. Let me copy paste this one so it will be quicker. Okay, let's do I am user. I'll just give it as user 2 and my user 2 here. Okay, so if I is test user, and if I give this test user 2 equal to this one, right? Now let's do the save changes. What will happen? Let's do the plan. Okay, what it says, your infrastructure matches the configuration. That's why there is no changes. There is no changes. Already my user is there. But we added one more resource block with my user 2. My user 2. So my user, yeah, my user 2. I don't know why it didn't plant. Can anybody tell? If you are clearly watching this and understanding how it is working, you can tell. Why?
That user is already available.
My user is already available, right? But another block I have given my user 2. This user not available, right?
Because where that is test is not equal to test user 2.
Exactly. So here, this test user 2 value has not been given to, means is test, now is test is equal to test user. Is test is not equal to test user 2. That means it is false. So 0. So count will be count became now 0. So nothing will be created as part of this block. So, and when you check this block satisfied, and this block my user has already been there, so it is also ignored. That means no changes as your infrastructure matches the configuration. Now let me twist something there. Okay, user. Here, what I have to do here, let's not here, let's change something there. Where? In the variables file, right? VI variables. Here, instead of is test user, let me add the value as test user 2. Now the second block will be executed. Okay, but I want 2 users to be created with the same name. What I'll do here, if I just give, it may not work, guys. It may not work. I'll say why it is. Okay, let's give 2. Let's give 2. Okay, hit enter. Let's do Terraform plan. And that's working then. So how many users it will create? It will create 2 users. See, my user 2 and my user. I'm not executing it. I'm not applying it, but I'm showing you how many users. 2. Similarly, but the problem here is it is giving with the same name, which is not matching, which is not fulfilling our requirement, which is not fulfilling our requirement. So in this case, what we should use to get the appropriate user or required user?
In the user, we can put that.
We can put the count.index there to get different kind of, we already have the count.index discussed, right? There we need to use the count index. So for the if conditions, for the conditional expressions, make sure you are using the if conditions or the conditional for the appropriate usage. This particular usage to create multiple name is not visible, but which cases it will be good, guys? Can anybody tell? Can anybody tell in which cases we should use, you should go for the conditional value, which can increase it in which cases? Here, if I use 5, what will happen? It will create 5 user, same name, but that is not, it does not match the requirement. Which cases I should go for 5? Whenever you are creating same instances, suppose you have a requirement to create same in 5 instances, same instance type and same configurations. With the similar configurations, you need 5 instances, then it will be easy to use these conditions and provide the count. It will automatically get created 5 instances with the same AMI, same instance type, and same configurations. Right? Sometimes you might get requirement to add some servers in your load balancer. We have a complete project. I'll show you that time with the load balancer and all these things. Okay. Sometimes there could be a requirement to add in your load balancer similar configuration servers. And what do you have to do? You have to add this. That's why I always tell DevOps is a mindset, how you want to achieve your automations, achieve your goal. It could do in a different ways, right? And you'll be looking for which can be easiest way to achieve the goal quickly.
Ranjit, here decrease also.
Sorry?
No, we can decrease also the right? Here, is it possible?
No, once it is created, how we will decrease it?
Okay, maybe some duplicate.
No, that is not possible here. We cannot decrease it. Even though you decrease it, what will happen? It will not create delete the servers, right? Suppose you created 5 servers here, and if you want to decrease it to 3, so how Terraform will know that which 2 servers will be deleted? That is not possible. That is not the case. It will throw error, right? You don't have to, then if you want to achieve everything in the one tool, it is not good actually, right? So you have to use different concepts there, right?
Okay.
Different concepts. We'll show all these things in our upcoming classes, how we'll handle those things, okay? But in conditions, it is not feasible. It's not feasible, okay?
Yeah, but in an array like that, C, you can malloc function.
Sorry?
In array, I mean C, data structure C, you
Yes.
can use malloc function.
Yeah, in C, what happens? There is in array, we can just floss it, or you can remove those items and all. But you should be specific. As in this case, that is totally different, guys. You in array, you are putting indexes, right? That's why that is you are segregating it. You are giving a different name by indexing it. But here we are not indexing anything, right? We are simply creating the same name. If the same name instances is created, then how Terraform will understand how many instances and what instances to be created?
Okay.
Right?
But it's all as a list only. Na?
Sorry?
This value name, value and key pattern all are in list or dictionary area.
Here we have not created any list, right?
Okay.
Here we have not created any list. Is this a list? No, right?
No, not a list. It's like a structure function, type of structure where you can create a name and all the variable you can fit in inside.
Mm-hmm. No, okay, maybe your voice is breaking, Sibram. Okay, guys, this already time is over. I'm going to wind up and have another classes. Maybe we can meet up, and Sibram will discuss offline. Okay, you can call me and we'll discuss.
Yeah,
okay? Sure.
Yeah.
Okay, guys, that's all for today's class, and we'll meet. And we are yet to go with multiple other things. Okay, so we'll go a little fast now.